All right, everyone, we are back. We are back with game number 2. It's going to be on Belshire Vestige. We're loading in to our map right now. Of course, if you were here 10 seconds ago, you know that Shew is up 1-0 against Suppy after a really all-in, but really effective 4-gateway push off of 2 base.
Game paused.
It looks like we're going to start off with a pause here right away. Suppy just needing just a moment to get ready, it looks like, but yeah, that push was really cool.
That push was insane, and with another map, is this? I just realized this is the same map, isn't it?
As the last game, we were on Akalon Waste the last game.
Okay, never mind. The map's just very similar. Look, I don't know why I think I am just tired from casting. Nonetheless, spawning in our top left-hand corner as our blue Protoss, we have Shew.
And his opponent currently down 0-1, not looking to go down 2-0. He is the Red Zerg player for Evil Geniuses. He is Suppy.
Now, on this map, it is a really long rush distance, so you're not going to see anything quick. We do have the 2 towers in the center. However, there are the rocks, so any attack path has to take a very curved path that adds a little bit of time to the any sort of assault distance.
Yep, it's not the early game aggression you really need to worry about. It's that late to mid to late game aggression, rather, where the Zerg can kind of swing around from both ends. And the Protoss, too. There's a lot of spots to hide pylons, and the third base can be very exposed. We are going to see Shew going for the Forge Fast Expand in this case. Not going to be the same Gateway Expand, so, of course, not going to be able to see the same follow-up that we did on Akalon Wastes. And it wouldn't really work here because it's so hard to get to the main ramp from the natural in this case. You can't really scoot your sentries there and force field it. So, on Akalon Waste, that's exactly where that would have worked. But a Forge Fast Expand on Belshire Vestige is ice cold. Perfectly fine way to start the match. It's just going to depend how exactly he wants to follow it up. Mutiling on this map can be very strong, so a Stargate opening lets you get those Phoenixes, which is nice.
Definitely, and we do have the 15 pool going down. Still hasn't gotten the hatch yet. Most likely the first thing that'll come down. No tech yet out of Shew. I think he might be going for a Nexus first.
Yeah, and this is not like it's not necessarily too greedy to the point where you deserve to be punished for it. There are slight vulnerabilities with the Nexus first, usually in regards to a 14 or 15 pool. The Zerglings are going to get there before your cannon finishes. You have to make sure to have a probe in the wall blocking it, because it's just a few seconds difference, but if the Zerglings can slip in there, they can get on top of that cannon, you are in trouble. So you got to be very careful, but Shew, of course, is going to be hyper aware of this. Going to make sure no Zerglings make it into the base, ideally.
Definitely, and I would like to see him actually leave this probe here, though it looks like he's going to send it back home. Leaving it actually there, he would know exactly when those Zerglings are out and knows when he needs to be prepped. Otherwise, it's just kind of a guess in the air of when the Zerglings are invaded. There are 2 about to pop, however, 2 isn't really going to do much to a base. We do have the Forge just now finishing up with the Gateway, and the cannon immediately goes down behind. He does, as you said, leave the probe right there in the middle to block any sort of access.
Yep, not going to let anything through there. Probe not fully walling it, but in this case, it doesn't really need to worry. Suppy only making 2 lings in favor of getting another drone out, so not looking to run by, and it's not something that a Zerg player should really be counting on. Sometimes you want multiple lings to be able to run around the map to look for pylons and probes, but he does have the one and the one at the tower, so this is going to work for him. He's going to get the fast third up, a common response to the Forge Fast Expand, and really not going to be too worried about anything as Shew completes his wall with a Cybernetics core.
Definitely, and we do have this Overlord actually floating just over the natural of Shew, just out of range of that Photon Cannon, so he's getting a good scout out, knows what's actually going to be here during this entire time. With that Cyber Core, we should hopefully see, on this many bases, I'd like to see some Sky Toss. This entire day, I have yet to see any sort of air superiority from Protoss, and it seems really strange when Protoss, their air units are very strong against a lot of the, just Zerg in general. It's very hard to counter.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when that Void Ray count gets too high. Even the counters to Void Rays don't counter anymore. Hydralisks, Mutalisks, they just melt to the Void Rays. But the tricky part is getting to that stage. If a Hydralisk timing comes in, if your opponent scouts you, going for heavy Stargate play, like 3 Stargates off of 2 base, at that point, he can just kind of make a lot of Hydras, very likely kill your third base. It's a very tricky hold, but a late game transition into Sky Toss is definitely something that would be very, very scary, especially against the mobile composition of Mutilisks that a lot of Zergs do like on this map.
Definitely, and we do have the Sentry on its way out to help bolster that defense against just some simple Zerglings. Zerglings not really able to do, obviously, anything on their own. We do have a Zealot just kind of running around here. He's going to run right at that tower. That poor Zergling is going to be chopped into little itty-bitty pieces. It looks like he's actually going to run it away, actually being very map-aware with that Zergling instead of just losing it to the Zealot moving out. We do have the Mothership Core. It is going to take some pot shots, and it does get the kill with the last shot.
That's going to be nice. That's going to deny the scout on the third, and it's forcing Suppy to relinquish this tower to send another Zergling out. So he wants to see exactly what's going on. He's sacking in his Overlords now, or at least one of them, into the main. Shew hasn't made a tech choice. It's the fast third that he's going for, and this is a very greedy play, and if the Zerg isn't made aware right away, then Protoss can get miles and miles ahead. Zerg needs to know fast if he wants to deal with this. Needs to make a lot of lings. We actually do see Suppy. 8 lings, 4 more on the way, but a round of drones. I don't think he's going to be able to deny this third base, even if he sees it.
Definitely, and the amount of gateways are going down is just becoming an insane number. He doesn't even know this base is here. If you actually take a look at the view, oh wait, the Overlord actually did grab a peek of it, and there is a run-by. Oh no, there isn't a run-by in the main. I was thinking, it's weird when you actually view somebody and it starts telling, you hear their sounds in your overlay.
Yep, and you're like, oh, my queen spawned. Wait, I don't have a queen. I'm commentating this game. Blasphemy. It looks like Suppy is going to take a fourth. He's just making drones in response to this. A lot of drones. And that's a proper response. You know that the Protoss is not going to be attacking anytime soon if they've taken a third base this quickly. Suppy will be taking his fourth momentarily, it looks like, as he goes up to a huge drone count. 70 drones right now, and a Spire going down. So this is going to be the exact sort of play that he can use to punish Shew. And once the mutas get out, if Shew's economy doesn't kick in quickly enough and he doesn't get Phoenixes out, there's just no other way to deal with Mutalisks. Blink and Storm used to work in Wings of Liberty. It doesn't anymore because of that regen and how quick the Mutalisks are. So Shew needs to scout this. He needs to see it right away.
Definitely, and it doesn't look like there's any tech, not even any starports up, just going purely gateway. He is quickly getting those probes saturated, though all of his bases being very well worked with workers, I guess is a really horrible way to put it. We do have a fourth going down for Suppy. He wants to always stay a base ahead as you normally do as Zerg. You do not want to ever be on even bases, especially with a Protoss. Being at the same level of a Protoss, you know you're in trouble.
Yep, and taking the fourth base to get that advantage. Looks like the Link's going to come in here, do a lot of damage to these probes. Shew did scout the Spire, by the way. Flew a Hallucinated Phoenix over, scouted both the Spire and the Hydralisk Den, but that's almost as confusing as not scouting it. You're like, which is my opponent going for? Because the two require completely different counters. The fourth has been canceled by Suppy. Okay, as he sees these units moving in, I thought he was going for some kind of 3-base or something. I was like, why would he make the extractors? No, he saw the army of Shew moving in. This is nice. He saw the Spire, so he knows if it's mutas, there's a timing here where a gateway push can do a lot of damage, and of course he can recall out.
Definitely, but those mutas are about to pop, and there are only 6 soccer here. With some kiting, he could easily take some of that. Oh my goodness. The
Look at
amount
those
of spine crawlers are just everywhere. Shields going down, but at that point they all pop. It's worse than a couple of planetary fortresses at that base.
Yeah, can't quite break in there, and Suppy knows he's held the attack off at the third, going for a counterattack with the Lings and the mutas, but the army is not huge for Suppy, and a couple mutas were picked off on the way over there. So, I mean, Shew can probably defend this with Warpins. He is going to wall off with the gateway, just barely, not going to allow those Zerglings to get in, but the gateway is quickly focused down. Meanwhile, Shew moving into the natural with a lot of gateway units. It looks to be a base race scenario, as neither player is looking to defend their home base. Shew might be able to do it with Warpins, though, and Suppy might not have that luxury.
Yeah, those Stalkers warping in with those Mutalisks are taking quite a few of them out. However, the Zerglings are coming in, warping in the rest. It does not look like he's going to be able to hold that base. It is quickly turning into a base race scenario. The main force of Shew is just going straight for the main. He wants to take out of that Spire as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the Muta's going to be the most dangerous part of this composition. Shew needs to hole up at his third, evacuate what probes he has left, which is actually 9 probes, and not enough money to make cannons here. And the mutas and Lings should be able to deal with this really quickly as the cannons do get focused down. And, well, there's no other way to say it. Base race, who is going to be able to eliminate the other player first? Suppy with a much more mobile army, and army supply advantage going slightly to Suppy as well, but another pick-off of the reinforcements by Shew. However, it's looking good for Suppy. Look at all these spines in the third. Shew is never going to break them.
Yeah, but look at the fact that there are pylons all over the map. He can continue placing them. He has enough for 3 more pylons, Though I do like how Suppy went straight for all of the workers. He went to each base, destroyed all of the economy, then went back to destroy the structures.
Yeah, exactly the sort of thing he needs to do to make sure Shew cannot climb out of the hole he's been dug into. And Shew's not looking to recall because he knows he can't take this army head on. He might be able to with really good force fields, but odds are pretty good the army would be very much on top of him as he recalls, so that wouldn't be the best situation. And as soon as he sees all these spine crawlers, honestly, it might even just be time for Shew to GG. He's not going to be able to break this.
Definitely. It was that amount of spine crawlers. He is trying to take him down. Yeah, he knows that he might go home and try to save this. If he runs all the way back home and saves this, he can actually build some workers. However, I don't know what he's going to do with his army. Germans are going to try to get us around, but they don't. Link forward to take out a few more of that. However, he still has a mining base, 14 workers mining minerals here, so that does give him quite the advantage.
Yeah, that is going to be something hard for Shew to come back from. Suppy doubling his supply right now. The mutas can't directly engage this army, but they can make very sure to make sure that Shew just can't make any probes. There's Lings on top of his only remaining Nexus. It is a situation where Shew has to just win this game with the army he has. And unfortunately for him, Spine Crawlers decimate gateway units, even when they have Blink, even when they have +2 weapons, even with the Mothership Core in tow.
Definitely, and it looks like they're going to try again at these Spine Crawlers. However, it does not look like a big rush of Zerglings behind the army. The best shields he can get actually does a pretty good job. However, it's just not going to be enough. Suppy is able to rebuild his army. GG from Shew, tying it up 1-1 in this best of 3.
Have a tied up game. Another rare occurrence here on Stream C, but one I am certainly grateful for because that means we get to see more StarCraft, a third game. This is our last cast of the night, so we definitely want to be sure to, well, extend it as much as possible. And I'm pretty happy we're going to a Game 3. We are going to see if, well, will Protoss or Zerg be the victor? Very different games we just saw, but only time's going to tell. We're going to run a commercial break, guys, before we come back for our final game between Suppy and Shew.